Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 2. With everything that was turned in this last week, we have a great start. I was really impressed at your layouts. Tonight we'll be covering some stuff with UI and UX that can help you. All right, so first let's talk about this. Get the house cleaning out of the way. Week 2, introduction to the class, programs required for this class, and week 2, class material requirements. Software for this class, Adobe CC 2018. If you do not have it, check the message in the announcement section and let me know. All right, so that's it for the announcements. Let's go ahead and now we'll cover the stuff. All right, so week 2, what we're expected with week 2. Identify at least 3 different design styles and layout concepts that are used in web portfolios. Determine the visual concept of the portfolio website. Hi, Jesse. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Welcome to class. Okay, so identify at least 3 different design styles, layout concepts that are used in web portfolios. Determine the visual concept of the portfolio website. Choose and add social media icons to the portfolio website that fit with the website's style. Determine the visual concept of the portfolio website. Choose and add social media icons to the portfolio website that fit with the website's style. Create an interactive menu that includes normal, rollover, mouse down, and active states. Okay, we covered some of that last week too. So, let's see. Let's go ahead. Now we're going to talk about the discussion. Today's fast-paced world, we only have seconds to grab someone's attention. It's even harder to keep it. So, what's UI? Do you remember?
User interface.
And that is?
That is the buttons and other elements that help a user interface with your or interact with your website.
Okay, and UX?
User experience.
That is?
How you want your user to feel about
how they feel when they walk away. Yes.
Yeah.
Always we want it good. All right, so websites that follow best user interface practices will have contact information, email, phone number, and maybe an address in the header or footer. In addition, there might be a contact form. Contact forms need to be short, easy to use, and well designed. If the website you used in week 1 discussion pertains to good and bad design with form designs, the student can use these this week. So in other words, if there was forms on them, you can discuss the forms. If not, you'll have to find some more. So locate 2 portfolios of professional designers or companies who have a well-designed form. Explain why the form works well in the UI. Explain why the client used the fields they did. Are any of the fields required? Why do you think the designer made these fields required? If there are not any required fields, why do you think the designer did this? Are there any images near the form? Does the images or image enhance the UI? How did the designer customize the form to make it unique and connect to the UI design? Include a URL to the well-designed forms. Then that's 2. So there's 2 links there. Locate one bad portfolio that uses a form poorly. Explain why the form is poorly designed. Keep UI and UX best practices in mind. Explain if there are fields in the form that should be removed or revised. Explain why these should be changed. Include a URL to the poorly designed form. Discuss how you would change the UI and UX design of the form. Discuss how you will implement what you have learned from UI and UX form design in your own form this week. All right, so there's 3 links. Now, your opinion needs something to back it up. You have to find 2 articles that back up why you say it's good or why you say the other ones are bad. So there needs to be 2 articles that back you up. So these 3 links don't just count. And this week it'll be more points off for that than last week. For your citation, you might use articles that show examples of well-designed forms. You can also find articles from experts that explain best UI and UX design practices. In your response posts, explain why you agree or disagree with the well-designed and poorly designed forms your classmates selected. Provide a suggestion on how the poorly designed form can be improved. Discuss if you see yourself implementing a well-designed form in your website and how. Remember, you have to have 2 references outside of the 3 links. All right, now, that being said, now we can move on to the assignment. Okay, so now that you've designed the home page, it is time to turn your attention to the degrees page. On the degrees page, you'll explore, select, and design a panel and form to use that will complement your UI and UX design. For this assignment, you will continue to work on the 2-page website we are designing for Independence University Graphic Arts program, or some of you chose, as I gave you the option, to use your own portfolio. We'll design the 2nd page this week. The degree page will showcase the different degree programs Independence University offers, the potential careers, and the applications students will learn. There will also be a contact form students can use to reach out to a recruiter to learn more about a specific program. After watching this week's live lecture and week 2's course media, select a tabbed or accordion panel. Place the following copy into your tabbed or accordion panel. This is the information. And like I said, if you're doing your own, that's fine. Just make sure you put your own info in there. You'll use 2 tabbed or accordion panels, one in the associate's degree and one for the bachelor's degree. Use public domain images websites, or you can use your own images. At least 1 photo for each degree offered. Or again, your items, since it's your portfolio, that would be your work. All right, now with this, we're going to talk about this is what goes on the contact form as well. So we'll get more into that later as well. All right, the assessment. After designing the form and panels, we need to make your website responsive and implement best SEO practices. For this assessment, you'll make the website you designed responsive. Complete the following this week. Add a breakpoint width of 768 for iPad viewing. Adjust the menu, images, text, and footer to fit the interface. Add a breakpoint width of 360 for mobile viewing. And there's the download library for the info you'll need for that if you're using the UI, University of Independence stuff. Hide the interactive menu, drag the mobile menu file to the master, design the mobile menu, and hide the mobile menu in other breakpoints. All right, so we'll go over this later. All right, are there any questions with that before we go on?
Nope.
All right, so right now, one thing I didn't mention when I did the class announcements was, remember, Wednesday night's a holiday, so we will not have class. It'll be on Thursday. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm setting this fluid width up at 1200, maximum page size, minimum height of 850, resolution standard, USA, margins are 20, sticky footer. Well, the sticky footer means it stays right there, so we're going to turn off that sticky footer, okay? If sticky footer is selected, footer items will be positioned at the bottom of the browser, window even when the content is shorter than the height of the browser window. If sticky footer is not selected, footer items will be positioned at the bottom of the page. So in other words, no matter the size of the page, it'll be at the bottom. If this isn't sticky footer, will give you exact. Okay, so we're going to stay okay. All right, so what we're going to do tonight, we're going to start here with a couple things. And I'm going to use Loki's fire performance again, okay?
Okay.
So, file, we're going to save site, desktop. I do not have a folder yet, so DES305 MOD7, right? Yeah, 7. All right, so now we have this. This is going to be LFP, Loki's Fire Performance. All right, now some of the things that I did see we're going to cover tonight on user experience that would really hurt the user experience, as well as the crap theory. Now, you know the crap theory, right?
Yeah, it's so consistency, repetition, alignment, and proximity.
Correct. All right, now, based on that, I'm going to use a graphic for this whole background.
Okay.
All right, let's do the command 0 first. There we go. Now we're going to go File, Place. Now, notice there's also Add Files for Upload. Those actually add those files into it and save them. Otherwise, I don't get the links to those files. And when you put them into your stuff, they may not show up if you don't do this. All right? So we're going to go ahead and go to my, whoops, there we go, pictures. And we're going to grab one of these. We're going to take that one for my background picture. Notice it didn't go in there. And this is why. Desktop. It didn't go into there either. Nothing shows up. You have to actually place it and then add those graphics, because that adds them to the folder. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so place. And we'll do that again. And we're going to take that one again. There we go. All right, now see how that one came across. All right, that's going to be kind of, let's see, what we're going to do is we're going to zoom down because I want to take that. Now notice as I make it bigger, the page size increased too, until I took it out. See, once I place it back into the page, it does all that for it. So we're going to go ahead and put it right there. In fact, we're going to go smaller so that, there we go. All right, so that's basically about 1,300. All right, so command 0. All right, so if I were to run this, file, preview page, this is what it looks like. Look how big that is. It's a little larger than the screen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's something for you to think about as you guys are doing your layout. People don't mind the scroll up and down anymore. Okay? So keep that in mind, that the scrolling up and down, people are getting used to. Now, next, what I want to do is I'm going to put my logo on here. So place. Fire performance. PNG right here. Whoops. There we go. All right, now, taking a look at this. What's wrong with that?
The black is kind of taking you out of the real action of that picture.
The black takes you out of the action of the picture. So the background, you're ruining the image.
Mm-hmm.
And you're making it. All right, what I want you to do is close your eyes. I'll let you know when to open them.
All righty.
Open them. Where do they get stuck?
In between the guy and the logo. Like it's like those two are fighting for
yep, these right here and here, right?
Mm-hmm. Is that guy you?
Huh?
Is that guy you?
That's me.
Okay.
Now the reason that this is doing that, one, okay, we're taught to read left to right, top to bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where does this picture direct you?
Right in the middle.
It directs you upwards because I'm looking up, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You look where the person in the picture is looking. So that's why you're able to go back to that picture. But because of the colors, this is all blacked out. It's interfering with the picture. It's a choppy now. And if I put text in here, we're just going to and go to 30. All right. Notice as it goes down, it widens that box. But one, that is now hard to see, right?
Very.
So what we're going to do is take that text. Well, first we're going to take that and watch a fill. Watch what happens if I fill it. Okay, but let's take a different color from here. Well, we go to here, libraries, come on. All right, where's my libraries? I think I'm signed in. Why is that not? There we go. All right, so I'm going to take this one. Let's choose that one now. All right, so that goes with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now what's happening? Okay, close your eyes. I'll let you know when to open them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the way to test. So I do this quite often when I'm making my designs. All right, open. Now you're pulled straight down to that big orange box, right?
Uh-huh.
You don't see the logo. You don't see the background. It's an interference. Look how choppy it is anyway. Okay, so let's take that and make it a little darker. Now, look, my arms are taking away from that color.
You might as well not even have the background picture if that's going to be the box.
Okay, you're starting to see something here, right?
Yeah.
All right, now let's go to a black one and change the text.
I was going to say, now I can't see anything.
Now your eyes just go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one, and I'm staying with the color theme, but it doesn't work. What did I break here? What rules did I break?
Well, everything's consistent, but I think it might be too consistent.
There's also a proximity issue because this graphic in the background goes picture, picture, break, the picture, break, the picture.
Okay.
Then we hit here, and my arms pull it away.
Right.
See how that happens? And then the same thing here because it's like I'm pointing where to go. So the issue is not the text, it's not the logo, it's the fact that this graphic does not match very well, does it?
It doesn't.
And I saw a lot of that. Make sure that you guys have something that looks good. This is somebody that threw it together just to have something, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now what I'm going to do, let's take that out again. Okay. And see the interference? So, okay, let's do this then. Well, white's also a color, right?
Yeah.
So let's make my text. Well, it's a color that's actually in the graphic. So let's do that. Come on, there we go. Now, the image is kind of hidden, kind of, but not enough, is it?
No. It needs to have a lower opacity, if anything.
Okay, so what we're now going to do is take the opacity down. Now that's too light, so we can go back to the dark. All right, now that would work, kind of. What stops that from working?
I keep going back to the black on your background, on your logo there.
Yep, now the logo's got that issue. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do this, and this is something else that I saw. It was a good idea, but let's discuss it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to bring up Photoshop. Go back and see. I'm going to go back to Photoshop, File New. And we're going to use the custom and V. Oh, I didn't do it. All right, so we're just going to go File, Open. Since it didn't copy it, it doesn't want to cooperate there. And we're going to go back to Higher Performance, Panda. All right, so now what I want to do, I'm going to click on all the black and delete it. Well, it didn't go. What can I do to select all the black?
You're in Photoshop. This is strange to me.
Okay, select.
Magic wand?
Oh,
Oh,
well,
you just
we
tried
can
that.
just use this. Watch the select color range.
Ah, there you go.
There we go. Look what it just did.
That is glorious.
And delete. Okay.
Uh-oh. I don't think that's what you wanted.
No, what happened?
Content aware or something?
Nope.
That's the last thing I saw before the black went away and the orange splotted.
Okay, what happened here? I've got a lot of backgrounds here. I pasted so many times that as a PNG, it keeps those layers even though they're gone.
Oh, I know what to do. I know what to do.
Okay?
All right, you have a selection here, and it's all the black.
Right.
Invert your selection. Go to select.
Right. Come on. Okay, go to select.
Inverse.
Okay.
And cut that.
So what if we just do a Command J and
What is
turn that
Command
off?
J?
Huh?
What is Command J?
Command J is create a new layer based off of that.
Oh.
Now
you have me at an advantage. I don't know all these commands.
you'll get there.
Okay.
Or you just right click and create a new layer from that selection.
Yeah.
So,
easier.
And the reason I say a lot of the commands is because when you go to, if you're going into a temp agency looking for a job, they will ask you about the commands when they give you the test. That's why I stress the commands so much. Have you ever taken one of their tests?
I've never even considered being at a temp agency, actually.
I would recommend everybody go do it. Try it once. Not to, even if you don't get the job, just try it. Go through their process. It will show you some of your weaknesses on your programs. And one of the things they do, especially with Microsoft Word, what are the commands that you use to do this? And it's sometimes a function that you rarely do. So it's just one of those, it's not always the same test, but it gives you an idea what some companies look for. Now, granted, the employer is only going to care if you can do the program. He doesn't care if you know the command or if you do the right click. He just cares of the outcome, right?
Right. I should hope.
I should hope. Now, there are employers out there. No, that's the only way to do it. Okay. So anyway, now we've got this. So if I did a Command A, which is selection, right? And the Command C for copy. We'll go over here. We're going to take that one. Command V. And I just pasted it. All right, so now we make this a little bit larger. And yeah, that's a little, there we go. All right, what's wrong with this?
There's no separation.
From the background to that.
Yeah, black border.
So we have the
stroke.
Exact opposite that we had before.
Yeah. Weird how that works.
Now, what we're going to do, go back to Photoshop. Let's zoom in. And it might get a little pixelated, but that's fine because we're not making it this large. All right, now I double click on that layer. We'll go bevel and emboss and contour, and now put a small stroke around it. All right, now the stroke, we're going to actually make it black. No opacity, size. That should work. So we're going to do this now. Now we're going to go Command A, C. Okay, so should this work?
Should.
Guess what? It doesn't bring that command over.
Oh.
That's why you'll have to save it. So let's go back to Photoshop. File. And we're going to export. Now, I want it for the page, website, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple things to look at. In this process, we want the smallest file possible, right? What's that called?
Best practice?
File optimization.
Okay.
It is a best practice, but the name is actual file optimization. So now we're going to take it. We got the PNG, a transparency. And we're going to export it. Fire Panda. Let's go to 305, LFP, and save. All right, now You go back over, File, Place. And watch the difference here. Oh, wrong one. Actually go to there. There we go. That's what happens if you click on the picture. So you actually have to click off to the side, then bring it back over.
Makes sense.
All right, now, and this is just the quickness, but you can still see the idea here.
Yeah.
All right, now take a look at that. What I want you to do is close your eyes. Don't worry about the pixelation. I already know that.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's because I made it larger here. This is for the example to show what happens. Now, open your eyes. What do you see?
I mean, the stroke gets a little blocky in a couple of places.
Which is the pixelation.
Well, no, not the pixelation, but like where the edges of the letter forms and the arms meet the hips of the panda bear.
Right. Okay. Right.
That
there.
looks a little weird. But
right. So in other words, when I drew it, that's what happens. When I drew it, I put that arm too close in. Okay.
But well, I was going to say that actually doesn't bug me because I know that that's like I expected that going in.
Okay. Now, what else do you see here?
That's what I see.
Okay. Now, how does the page itself look?
Assuming that the text box would have some proper like actual content, I'd say it looks good.
It looks a lot stronger than before. There's no choppiness when we go down. It actually flows. So those lines can sometimes work. Now, when we're dealing with a logo for the company, you adding lines like this could be an issue. You have to remember, a company hires you to create it. You putting a black line around their logo like this, you have just altered their logo.
Right.
And a lot of companies have this little book. Do you know what it's called?
Something design standards.
And I love using this one.
I forget the exact word for it, but I know what you're talking about.
Logo guidelines.
Right. Okay.
Now, I bring this one up for a reason. Take a look at that. Look how nice that is.
That is really nice.
They do. They have it. I got to work in their print shop for about 6 months when I was trying to figure out what to do. And it was fun. So we go down here. Go down. Logo type. This is their actual logo. Make sure you put their trademark there.
Right.
Okay, now, that's not here. Do you put a trademark on there?
Do you require that of your logo?
All right. I haven't trademarked it, so no.
Okay, then I would probably say no.
Okay. Now, do I have to put the copyright symbol on there?
I don't think you have to.
No, even if I paid for it. You have to remember, copyright. As soon as I publish it, it is copyrighted.
Right.
Why do you have to go through the process, then, if that's the case, to get copyrighted? So I can put that symbol on here, but it doesn't quite match what I'm going for here. But why would you go through the process if it's already copyrighted? Why would you go through that copyright process?
I don't know.
Gives you a standing leg when you go to court if somebody takes your work.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, well, it's copyrighted, but guess what? You didn't register it with us, so how do we know you had it first? Then you're back to proving all that. Okay?
Right.
So that's something to remember as you're doing this type of stuff. All right, so let's go back. Now we go down. Notice they have a logo mark as well. They have the logo. This is just the logo mark, which is a portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is the whole thing, but that's part of it. Now we go down. The use of it. Minimum size. This is as low as it can go, as big as it can go. Preferred logo. Limited use. Now they can use this one where they stretch it all out in certain cases.
Like letterheads and whatnot?
Yep. And actually with a letterhead, you're going to have to use the preferred.
Or not letterheads, but like envelopes, maybe.
Envelopes. Even take a look here. They use the full one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's that one. Now let's go down a little further. Logo zone. This is the whole thing, okay? This is the distance before, after, above, and below. Same here. This tells exactly how big that could be. This tells how big. This tells where that R will go. This is how strict Idaho Power has gotten. All right, we go down a little further. Oh, look. 321354. What is that number?
That's Pantone, isn't it?
That's Pantone. Why do you do a Pantone logo when you're creating logos?
I don't know. I just know that you do.
Because once you use a Pantone logo, if you use that color every time, you get that color every time. You take it to a printer, this is the Pantone green. They could just go, oh, okay, boom. That's how they print it. They make sure it comes out that way. And we go down, and you'll also notice, like, for example, Coke, Pepsi, red logos, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same red?
No.
Why not?
Because I know Coca-Cola has copyrighted their red.
Trademarked.
Trademarked. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Can't
See,
copyright
this
colors.
is where, huh?
You can't copyright colors.
Right. You trademark them.
Right.
Why can't, it's the same reason you can't say Super Bowl if you're doing an ad for the Super Bowl.
They don't have to say the big game.
They have to say the big game. I think I've covered that. But they actually have, yeah, we did. In fact, in the animation class, the first one, we covered it. Because they do that, that way it's theirs. Nobody can use it. So
right.
They trademark the name. All right, now we come down here. The reverse logo, two-tone black. These are the only variations. They'll give you the grays that you can use around it. But notice, remember the distance? It's around there. The only reason they drop this down is so that they can put that 40%. This is a 40% gray. %, and 60%. How do you get that gray?
It's 60% black, isn't it?
60% black. Which means they're using what at that point? CMYK.
Right.
Because it's the 60% K, 0% on the others.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't use a percentage on RGB.
Right.
Okay, so we go down a little bit logo. Oh, look at all the misuses. Do not use without a trademark symbol. Do not add any special effects. This is where that outline would come into play.
Mm-hmm.
Do not outline the logo. So in other words, you just lost your job because you did what they said don't do. Don't rotate the logo. That's how strict they are with their company. Okay? So this is something to think about when you're working with a company. Now, if it's yours, I don't like that alteration to that logo. I really don't. So what I'm going to do is we're going to highlight it. Now we're going to place, go back to here, that one, open. Now I click on there. Why to do that?
You're trying to put the original logo into a smaller box.
Exactly. So remember that as you're placing your stuff, what you have to remember is this, the percentage size of it, puts that into there as the percentage size. Hi, Tavish. Can you hear me? Give him a couple minutes. Can you hear me yet, Tavish? Tavish. Let's see.
Maybe he doesn't have a microphone.
I'm thinking that, but he can't even hear me here. So if he can't hear me at all,
That's troubling. Are you still here?
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
All right. So,
Tavish here?
yeah, Tavish is here, but he's not even answering in the text.
Oh.
Okay. So, see how I made it the exact same way? There's two routes to do that. You can replace it and then make it fit, or you just go and make it the right size. Because now, watch. I take this and drag it. It's proportional. I hold the shift. This is where this is a little different because... Hi, Tavish. Can you hear me? I see you have a microphone.
Yes, sorry, I was trying to log on with my phone before and it wasn't working. I'm going to mute myself though, just because I have my child right here with me.
That's fine. But
That's
go ahead.
Fun.
That's fine to mute it. In fact, that's great. And then if I ask a question, you can just unmute it, okay?
Okay, sounds good. If I mess up and you can hear me or my kids, let me know and I think I got it though.
No, that's no problem. Now I'm going to remove your other person for you, or do you want to keep it in here?
Yeah, no, remove that other one. Sorry, I just closed the app because it wasn't working.
That's fine. Well, just when you do the phone, you have to actually dial in with sound.
Oh. Yeah, that was the first time I had attempted with the phone.
It took me a while too the first time.
Okay.
All right, so, but unlike normal programs of Adobe, Shift will give you a proportional sizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here, without the Shift, if you're directly on the corner and go 45 degrees, it'll do that. Now, I go here and see it's proportional without the Shift. Now I hold the Shift, it stretches it. And then I go here and do the 45 degrees, it does the proportion again until I decide to go in and up. I have to do exactly 45 degrees to do the proportional. Or I just don't click on it and drag it and it does the proportional. So there's a difference there than with the other Adobe programs. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to go backwards here a ways. All right, so now, edit, redo. All right, so now we're going to get rid of that one. All right, so this has a hard time seeing through the background still, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what rule is that breaking out of the crap theory? What do you think, Tavish?
I'm sorry, you lost me for just a minute. I was trying to deal with him for a second.
Okay, no problem. Okay, looking at this, what is the problem? What rule out of the crap theory did I break? You know the crap theory? You put your mute back on.
Sorry, hold on one second.
Okay. Well, what do you think, Jesse? What did we do wrong? We've already discussed that one. So what is it again?
Is it proximity again?
Proximity again. Because the background is taking over. Now, what I can do with this background, it's at 27%. Let's go a little bit more. Now, if I take all this stuff over to the side, the picture's still there. The picture's still there, but not enough to take control. Okay? So these are things we can look at. Now, let's go for an effect. Shadow. Well, let's see. It's filling the whole thing, so that's not going to work, is it?
Nope.
Okay. Bevel. Oh, look at the bevel on there. Do you want a beveled edge?
I wouldn't.
Okay, reason?
I just don't like it.
Okay.
I don't really have a strong reasoning for or against.
I think unless there's a reason to have it, you shouldn't necessarily need it. Like unless you're trying to make like a mock-up on something that would need to have it. Like
Okay, with a
paint or something.
you guys are on the right path. When it's a background, well, let's take a look. All right, see the difference between the white outside the picture now.
Mm-hmm.
But look on the other side. If you're making like a book type page or something, you can do it. But like you said, you have to have a reason. Don't just do it because, oh, this looks cool.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people tend to do. All right, so let's go back. Now we're going to get rid of that. And go all the way back out. Come on. There we go. All right, so now it's gone. Now watch the difference. Now it's solid, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Tavish?
I think it looks much cleaner.
Okay, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool. All right, now look at my logo. See how it actually stands out? What we're going to do really quick, watch this. We're going to take that back to 100%. And then we're going to go take this and we're going to grab that color because it's one of the colors. So I'm staying consistent. But watch. Watch the difference how it looks here and on the page. See how the text is a little more visible? But it's not enough that you'd want to do that, is it? The picture's still too strong.
Yeah.
The picture direct pulls from everything you're doing. So when we're talking about user interface and user experience, what does this fall in the line of? It's affecting both. Remember, the user interface is any way they interact.
Mm-hmm.
Reading is hard to read here. Especially as you hit here, my arm directs you out directly away from the text. My head, you come read down, top to bottom, left to right. You go boom, boom, boom. You hit here, you go back. You start reading right here. You hit the eyes, the face. Remember, natural instinct is to look where the people are looking in the picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just lost everything below there. So remember that percentage. All right, so you understand the use of logos from a company. Now, let's go ahead. Now we're going to take this, and then we're going to take that one first back to 27. In fact, I'll take it to 25. And then the text, I really don't like this layout. I really hate using pictures as background. All right, now what I want to do, we're going to actually leave that text the orange. watch now. What I want to do is we're going to take this. All right. So fill it with the black. Notice 0, 0, 0. So hexadecimal straight zeros. We're not using the CMYK black because the CMYK black will give us what?
Kind of an off black gray look.
Gray look. Now we go back. All right. So now what I want to do is take that and we're going to arrange, send to back. All right. Look what that just did to that picture. Why did it make that picture have a darker look if it's behind a picture that's solid with no empty background?
Because you had changed the opacity of your picture.
Exactly. And a lot of people miss that when they're first learning. They'll take the opacity and think, well, that's just dulling down the picture. No, then you have a solid white behind it. Now, adding that solid black, this is what happened. Now, that picture's there, it's strong, but not strong enough to take away from the text, is it? On any of it.
I think it looks great.
What do you think, Jesse?
I'm sorry, what?
Okay. Tavish says this looks great. What do you think? Now it's not.
If you don't mind distorting your picture a little bit.
Yeah, the picture's distorted, okay? That
Yeah.
we know. But past that. Now the picture's there, but not, it doesn't take from the text, but it's enough there that you actually could see that there's something there, right?
Yeah.
And if I delete it, that's what we have.
In this, I don't think the picture's really what's important. What's important is what you're trying to lay down in the text. And so this makes it so you can kind of see that there's an image of you blowing smoke behind, but the important information in the text is still able to be read because of what you've done there.
Okay. What did I do with the picture? Somehow I lost my picture. There we go. Now we're going to put it back there. All right, now, so we have that. But I'm going to be honest with you. I hate using pictures as backgrounds. Personally, for a website, you have to remember everybody's monitors are set up differently. All computers are set up differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can that affect one picture?
Any number of ways.
Okay, what do you think, Tavish? What are some of the ways?
Maybe the size or the color might show up differently on someone else's monitor depending on what they're set up for.
Okay. Now, what computer are you guys on?
I have the Mac that the school gave me, and I have a desktop.
Okay, so you have a PC. Okay, so you both have a Mac, and then Jesse's got a PC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the colors, if you have not calibrated your monitor, your colors will not be the same as anybody else's. You can calibrate your monitor. There's a tool that does it. It's cheaper to go in and have them do it for like 10, 15 bucks than buying the tool. Because you don't use it as that often, unless like the big companies, they'll use it once a year at least, sometimes every 6 months. It depends. And now let's take a look at the displays I have. Look at all these different colors I have.
Wow.
If I choose one of those, I have just changed the color of my stuff. It will look different to me. You probably won't see the difference if I change it on mine. You won't. But you'll see it if you change it on yours. Then we go to this. If we do night shift, yeah, I'm not going to do that because you guys will see it. That one you'll see. Turn on until tomorrow. Look what, did that change the color to you?
Can you do it one more
I didn't
time?
notice it.
I just turned it off. It becomes kind of an orangish pinkish color. It goes so it's not as bright at night, okay? So if you have that on, you just messed your colors up. You have your scale differently. The colors could show up differently.
When you say take it in and have them do it for you, is that like, would we want to take our Macs into like an Apple store, or who would?
Yeah, I don't know if the Apple stores will do it, if they have the tools. But you could ask them. But for the most part, Macs are pretty good when they come out. They don't mess up and lose that calibration as easy as a PC does. Usually, okay? So now we take a look at this. And if you're doing a lot of print, that's where it comes in. That's why the other reason, get to know your colors. Get to know how to use the math on the colors. All right, you guys have seen how to use the math, right?
Mm-hmm.
For your colors. Okay, how do I get yellow out of RGB?
It's is it red and green?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But what's the numbers? 255 red, 255 green, 0 blue. Show you. Let's go back to Photoshop. And this is very important because these colors, that little difference can make that difference. For example, all right, so 255, 255. Okay, see, that's a specific yellow. But if I wanted the CMYK, look at this. It's 97%. Now watch if I was doing a print, 100% yellow, 0% there. See the difference? You may not be able to see it unless you're printing something at a large scale right next to the two yellows. Then you'll see it big time. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Tavish, does that make sense to you? Uh-oh. Let me open the chat. Okay, no problem. She's stepping away for a second. Just let me know when you're back. All right, so based on that, when you start knowing these math, okay, so, and this is the color wheel, okay? So this would be yellow, 255, 255. All right. Now, notice you didn't really see a difference here, did you?
Nope.
When you print it, depending on the printer, it could show up big time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now, only use web colors. Watch this. If I switch to only use red web colors, that limits the color a lot more because it doesn't mix the same, and it makes it easier for all monitors to get the same look. Now, we click here. There's an error there that takes care of it. Now, let's do this again. 255, 255. again, it shows up as an error because that's not the 100% the yellow there. RGB yellow, look at your web colors. If I'm on the web colors, that's the exact yellow for RGB. It's a little off. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So this is something to think about, okay? So we're going to go back. Now I'll take this to 144. It's kind of a yellowish green now, isn't it? Greenish yellow.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll do this the other way around. Half the color. And orange. This is how you make your colors on your color wheel. The further you go from the green, the less, when it's in between. Here, let's bring up an RGB color wheel. This will help explain that big time. RGB color wheel. All right, so here's our color wheel for RGB. Red, see, 25500. Now, half of that, you know that red, green, and blue, they're 3 apart, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in between the red and the green, dead center is yellow. 255, 255. So 100% plus 100% gives you yellow. No worries, Tavish. It's okay. Now, to get to a greenish yellow, you come further from the red, so you cut the red in half and leave the 100% green. That gives you the greenish yellow. To get the orange, you go further from the green, so you cut the green in half. Does that make sense now on the math?
I think so.
It's one you'd have to play with. What, Tavish?
I just stepped into this, but I think I understand where you're going.
Okay. Well, and that's something to start playing with. Look at your colors. This is why it's really important when we go through the color wheel that you understand how these colors come together, how to mix them to get the colors you need. Okay, so that being said, now we're going to go back over to here because this is all for RGB, the web. All right, so now by putting that black background, now watch what happens. I am going to fill that with the orange. Okay, and then we're going to take this, get black. That sounds out great too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But look what I did to my logo. Remember, you're not allowed to change the logo, right?
Right.
So that's something to think about. When you're doing this, you have to make sure. This is where the color comes in with your UI, your user interface, and your UX, user experience. Right now, if this is the site you came to, you may read it, but you're not going to remember who it was because that logo is so hard to see. Now, what we could do, we could take it and we can modify it, but then we just broke the rules again, didn't we, of the company?
Yep.
That's something to watch out for. And when you're creating your own logos for a website, your own website, this is something you guys have to think about. How are my backgrounds going to be? Now, watch when I do this. Well, that orange blends in with part of my logo. This is why for this site, That works great. Now, if I did this, okay, close your eyes for a minute. Open them. You can see the logo. The logo's still in mind, but it doesn't pull from the text. But you focus on the text, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Tavish?
I agree, but what did you change? What did you change from when you said close your eyes?
Nothing.
Okay. Okay.
I left it there, okay, on purpose.
Okay.
Because this
I
is,
was expecting a change. I'm sorry.
that's fine. What happens is when you close your eyes for 5 seconds, then open them. Wherever your eyes go and what you see, that's what somebody, when they first come to a site's going to see. It gives you that fresh look.
Okay, yeah, that's where my eyes went to, or where the text. So that makes
But
sense.
you can still see the logo, right? But
Yeah.
it didn't take away.
No.
It was there strong enough that, okay, now I know who it is. Now, okay. Now close them. Okay, open them. You keep getting pulled to the Loki's fire, don't you?
Yeah.
You get down to the text, but you still get pulled back up to Loki's fire and to the panda. It's hard to focus. So I just basically controlled your eyes and took it. All you're going to remember is Loki's fire. You're not going to remember anything about it because I made your eyes fight down there to the point that they focused on Loki's fire because it's the brightest thing on the page. So just changing a slight change. Now we're back to, you could focus on the text, and then, but Loki's fire performance is still there in the background. Can you see how to control people's eyes doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Cavish?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
See the difference there.
You what?
I can definitely.
I lost you there.
Sorry, I could see the difference.
Okay. Yeah, because remember, we read. Now, I'm going to throw a little loop in there. I'm making this website for somebody in China. How do you read Chinese? Huh?
I said no.
No. How do you read Chinese?
I don't.
I don't either, but how do they write?
From right to
It's
left,
top to bottom, isn't it?
bottom. Yeah, it's different.
Right to left, top to bottom. Actually, top to bottom, then right to left. They actually read going down, come back up, down, top to bottom, right to left, right? Now, if I did this in Korean, that throws another loop in there. So depending on your audience is how you're going to lay this out. Okay? Now, here's one that really throws a loop. Now, this is not a web-friendly font, but it is an actual font.
I'll be right back.
Okay? Oh, it won't even show up for the web. So some of your fonts, if they're not web-friendly, they're not web-friendly. Look at that.
I'll be back.
Okay, so we'll go back. Now, let me go over. We're going to copy that. And we're going to go to Illustrator. Okay, and the reason I'm bringing this font into it, because this one can be read in all sorts of directions, up, down, left, right, top, bottom, circles. If you really want to add a loop, All right, so create a new one. Letter. Okay, now and let's take it up there. All right, so I can read this. We're going to be doing this. Just approximates, just so we can get the idea here. All right, so everything else past there is going to just be gone. All right, so now we have that. Now watch. Because all this was just garbly goop that I typed in. The garbly goop stuff. Filler text. All right, now we're going to change that. And I actually created this for somebody who's writing a book. Oh, great. Now it's not cooperating at all. Huh. Oh, I know why. Boy, is it being difficult tonight. It doesn't even want to come out. So let's go ahead and.
So was this a font that you created? Is that what you said?
It's a font that I created for somebody to use in their book.
Okay.
And this is actually what's known as the Elder Futhark, which is an old Nordic alphabet of 24 characters.
Oh, that's so cool.
And for some reason, it just does not want to cooperate tonight. It's definitely not cooperating tonight. Okay. Well, anyway, if it helps, let's go ahead. Like I said, it can be viewed in any direction. Circles, lines, up, down, left to right, top to bottom. So it all depends on the author of that one.
So is this like an old language?
It is, the Old Norse alphabet. Elder
Okay.
Futhark, there's 24.
That's so cool.
Uh-huh. So as you can see, this has been found all over the world, different rune stones. And as you can see, they were written different directions. So it all depends on the author there. So saying that, how you direct their eyes depends on how you're writing, the directions, your graphics, all that come together. The crap theory is big time used, okay? Always for a website. Now, something else I don't like doing for a website. I have everything centered. So I'm going to alter that. All right, and then I'm going to take this, C, here, and V. Okay. Now, how do we do a copyright symbol? How have you done them in other Adobe programs?
Honestly, I've always copy and pasted mine, so I would be very willing to learn how to do it for real.
This program has an easy way to do it. Come back up here. Let's look at everything we have up here. All right, so object, page, edit. We have our spelling, change the cases. So I could change them to upper and lower and everything. Okay, find, replace, page. Go to the page, matching page, and so on. Object. We have insert a widget, which are the things we're going to be working on next. The form, the menu, the panel, which is accordion or tab like we went over last week. The slideshows. I'm going to go over the slideshows also. And all these different things. I can even put in a YouTube video. HTML, insert a link anchor, view, glyphs. Let's take a look at the glyphs. There's the @ copyright. I clicked on it. Look what happened. Loki Designs 2018. All right, now my page is copyrighted. So we're going to preview page in browser. All right, and there's my page. But look, that's down in the footer. The thing with the footer, you have got to do it separate. All right, so we do this. And CV. There. There. Send to back. Well, if I do this, everything that we learned says that should work, right? So let's go save site. All right. File. Preview page in browser. Go down. It almost works. The thing is, this one's separate still, so you have to take that right there into consideration. Whoops. Take that back up and watch what happens when I take that up there just a little. We're going to save. By taking that up into the section above, we just lost it again. Okay, so that's something you need to take into consideration. We'll go over that one, how to fix that tomorrow. I wanted to show you guys that because that was something that I did see people having troubles and fighting. So if I take that down to there. There we go. Once again, to show where we're at. Preview page in browser. Okay, again, it's gone, right? That's one of those glitches right now. And yeah, so we'll work on that one later. But now I'm going to copy this and delete it because notice I'm in my master page. Okay, now up here, I'm going to add, I need a portfolio, but for a performer, what's it called? It's not a portfolio for a performer. What is it?
I don't know.
Tavish?
It's not a okay. I don't know. You got me. It's not a portfolio. It's a
Gallery.
gallery. Okay.
All
I
right.
did not know
So,
that.
huh?
I did not know that at all.
Little differences. Just like there's no difference between a watermark and what do they always put on their pictures? Your logo.
Okay.
It's about the same thing. The only difference is photographers use watermarks.
Okay. Generally, a watermark goes over like the entire picture, so you can't like.
Yep. But it's
okay,
still the
that makes
logo.
sense. I can see. Yeah, I can see the connection there.
Okay. So we have home, gallery, about, and booking or contacting, and probably call this one contact instead. All right, so there's my site, right? Well, because of that, now, we can close that, we close this, go up to my widgets. Menus, horizontal, vertical. Let's do the horizontal. Put it in there. All right, so now it goes all the way. Now, see, doesn't that look kind of weird up there by itself? Like that? What can I do to make that stand out a little bit better?
With the buttons?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe change the color or the size.
Absolutely change the colors.
Okay, let's change the colors. So we're going to go to here, to the button. Red. Now, let's go to the states. Rollover. Make the rollover orange. Okay, so red, orange. Mouse down. Let's go ahead and make it black. Now, what would be a good color for this for active then?
Orange.
Orange. Okay. Let's go back. Active.
When I was doing this on my website, I was having the issue of, for some reason, it was only highlighting my text. Is it because I created a box?
No. Let's zoom in a little more. Notice if I click too far, now I'm on the text. Here is the button. Does that help?
I guess should I have used Photoshop? I didn't. I used Illustrator. Does that make a difference?
No, it'll still do the same thing.
Okay, so
But Photoshop does a lot easier because then you can insert the Photoshop button.
yeah, and I noticed that when I was watching the lecture that you
Mm-hmm.
and I did it since I used Illustrator.
Now, if you use Illustrator, you save each one as the right name, then it'll still work. You just have to do a little more work and actually go into the state and choose the button for each.
Okay.
But it's harder to do. Okay, that's why Photoshop is perfect for this one. All right, so now I've got those. So there's my page. But I don't like this. I don't like white because white, I only have one spot. So I'm going to use that. Now I could change that, or I could change the background to it. Okay, now to do that, I click in there. Yeah, that one's kind of hard to get to, so the easiest way would be just to here. and take that color, which is F79520. F79520. See how that changed my text?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's hard to see. So, looking back, that white was the better choice. So now we save this. All right, so we saved the site. All right, that's my master. Now, all right, so we go to here, paste, and look what happened. Well, now I need to take this and align it. All right, so there's that. There's my home page. Close. Now I want to alter this one. Gallery. Well, we're going to add the gallery. Slideshows. We've got our basic, a blank one, full screen, light box. Which one do you guys want me to use? Light box? Okay. So I take the light box and drag it over here. All right. Command 0 to get everything in there. All right, now this is where we can take this corner. Come on. Double click, take that corner, do the shift, and drag it down. All right, I still have the pictures here. Now, I double click on this picture. See this arrow? I go to that arrow, add my image. Well, let's see. Go back to here. There's a fire breathing one. Now, see how that automatically put that into there?
Mm-hmm.
But it got rid of the rest. So we add one. Well, if I add the image now, and we're going to take that one. See? I just click on the one, and there it is. Now, notice when I changed that, I did not move any of this. So I'm going to delete that one. Now I'm going to take this button section. And I clicked them with the switch, shifts, okay? So I'm going to take that to the center. Right there. Now, I save it. Now I want to view site in browser. Not page, but site. All right, let's go to the gallery. Click. Well, now it won't let me go to that other one. Why? Click. I have to click outside of it to do that. Whoops. Refresh it. Notice, I refresh it, it doesn't come back because that's the master, one. But two, this is not tied into those pages fully till you publish it. It lets you do what is there at that time. So let's go back to here. All right, so now actually what we're going to do is we're going to, you notice that filled that whole section, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to do this. Go all the way back. All right, now, I could just go to here. Now watch, add image. And we're going to grab that one. Now we're going to grab that one. And we're going to grab that one. And then a fun one. There we go. All right. So, I love dressing up for performances. That's always fun. So now we save the site. Go File, Preview in Site Browsers. Now watch the differences. All right. Gallery. See, what happened was when I changed things, I didn't enlarge all the sections at once. And by not doing so, that's what happened. I lost control. So when you're doing this, make sure you take everything. So I'm going to take that whole section to right there. And see, that's that section. That's that section. Each one of these is different. So if I go like this, it takes that whole picture and centers it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't move it. Okay? So that's something to watch as you're doing this. Now we'll move this. Come on. Ah. Really? It's starting to act up. All right, so now we're going to go into here. There we go. Now I put this one here. That one goes right up against it. And that one goes right up against that. Now watch the difference. So we save the site, and we go back up here, and preview site in browser, and gallery. Again, that you have to watch, but look, now it's here. But there's such a wide gap because I didn't make the pictures fit, so this is all considered what? White space.
Mm-hmm.
All that white space. All right, so now you'll notice this one here. Whoops. So now we're going to choose that section. And we're going to bring it to right here. Okay, so that, and then all I have to do is pick the picture. And again, that 45 degrees like I was mentioning. There we go. Now watch the difference. But down here, also, gargoyle. Loki. All right. Now we have that. Now watch, as I click here, it changes. Heart of Fire. Breathing Up, just as a name. And see how easy that is? You change it so that it goes with the photos.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, Tavish?
Yes, it does.
Okay, now I'm going to take those, that section, and I'm going to move it to right there. Now it's closer. So we're going to go File, Save Site, File, and preview site and browser. This is what we get. Let's go over. And again, a lot of this, remember, I added height to that picture. But now, see the difference where that's at? And then watch when I hit the last one. Now it's the right size. Okay. Well, let's just say I don't want you to be able to see how many pictures of pictures there are. So I just click on this and hit delete. So I just altered that. So you have a lot of options for this. There we go. And see, now you don't see which one you're on. Okay, so next what I'm going to do, highlight that. Notice it's Helvetica 14. And it's gray. Well, I want that to actually mix with the site. And let's go to 48. See the difference now? Now I have more control of where they're looking, what they're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So you can alter this, okay? You can even alter that symbol and put a glyph in there instead. Object. Remember glyphs? Well, let's see. What would be a good glyph? The arrows. But I didn't change the other one, okay? But still, notice if I scroll, all that's behind it, okay? So we just go here, here. All right. So does that explain the carousel to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to delete it.
No.
And we're going to close this. And go back here for a minute. Because one of the things I hate is I hate having to make people scroll, to be honest with you. So I'm going to take this, and we're going to go to 750. Okay, 750. Now I click here. Notice that there's no controlling there. So we're going to take this and delete it for a minute. And see, I can't control that page site now. Okay? So this is something to watch for when you're playing with your stuff. You can lose control of the site, as you can see there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this and drag the whole thing up. Notice it's forcing the bottom up. But now that I'm up here, it's different. Because, remember, I set the minimum height at 750. So this can now go to there. And that goes to there. See how it's now back into that area? If you set the minimum height, that's where you start losing control of this bottom. So you see how I fix that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, because that minimum height, well, site properties. Well, let's take a look what site properties shows us. See, there's that minimum height of 850. 850. So if I change that to 900, now that drops that. So if I were to change that minimum height to be within that, I wouldn't have that big white area at the bottom that copyright went into. So watch the difference. Remember how we had that. Now we don't have it anymore. So that's how you adjust that issue. Okay, so that's an easy one to fix. All right, is there something before I continue you guys want me to go over tonight?
Nothing I can think of.
Cavish?
No, I think you're doing good. I'm just catching on to what you said since I just got back. But yeah, I think so. Was the minimum height like the 850? Is that like standard for?
No, standard's probably 600.
Okay, that's what I was thinking before. So I just stepped in as you were saying that.
Yeah, I put the 850. Now watch. Here's how I could adjust that on a Mac. I can do it two places: the About This Mac or the System Preferences. Let's go to the About. We're going to go to the Display Preferences. All right. Display, color, right shift. Whoops, that's not the place I wanted to go. I'm sorry. Let's try that again.
What are you trying to change?
Oh, they moved it. It's no longer there.
What are you trying to change?
I'm changing the screen resolution. They took it out
You're
right
in the
there.
right spot. Display preferences.
Yep. Oh, there it is. Scaled. Now watch. If I click here, we're going to go to there. Look what that just did. So watch now to this. So if I do this because I need the large text, look what that just does. Now I have a lot more to scroll. And that just made it, see how that made it larger?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, Tavish?
Yes.
So did that answer your question on that one? Why that is?
Yeah.
And I chose that, well, on purpose, just to throw everybody off for fun.
Okay.
So now we're going to go back to default. That looks so much better. We can even go smaller. Now watch it. See, that really throws everything off when you do that. And let's see. Now we want to go File, Browser. Now see that all I have to do now is make that larger. But 600 is about the average, as you can tell there. That's what it was set up as. So let's go back. So, and to get there the other direction, the System Preferences, goes into the monitor as well. So let's go back to default. Now we're going to change that to, where did I go to change the height? Do you remember?
Under Preferences?
Site properties.
Site properties. Oh, duh.
Okay, so now we're going to go 600. All right, notice, well, I said 600. That puts it right here. Well, watch what happens when I run it. It still works. Because anything over 900, and it starts that break. Actually, anything over 850, it starts that break. So we'll take this up. To 600. And see that footer is below 600. Because of the 20 pixels outside. That's why that's a little bit wider. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so does it just like adjust to the person's screen?
Uh-huh.
You get it to that minimum?
If you set it up to do so. Fluid width and height. That does it, the fluid.
Okay, so if it's at fixed, then it won't adjust. It'll look distorted.
Right. Well, it'll adjust up and down, but it won't adjust sideways. And then you start losing it when you try to shrink the screen.
Okay.
All right, so, and here's what we have here. So now we're going to preview site and browser. Now look, because this text was outside of that. Now, this was an issue I was running into with a website I was making. But I found a way out of it by using, going in and programming the HTML and JavaScript through Dreamweaver. I'll talk about that at the end of the mod, okay? So right now, let's go ahead and we're going to take that back to the 900 or back to 850, okay? So we'll just go Command Z till it's back there. All right, and there we go. So that puts it all back to here. But notice the bottom. Why is there such a white space at the bottom? You know, Jesse?
I do not.
Okay, let's go back in here. Minimum height, 850. Remember, this is just outside of that point.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah.
Okay, now, and this is where we get to mess that up. Whoops. Okay. See how that fixed it?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to drag that down a little. All right, now, all right, so now we've got that, we've got that. Let's do the about. All right, for the about, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the widgets, panels, and let's do an tabbed. Put that right here. Make it the same size. Okay. Now that, well, we want to change the color to that to match our red's not going to work, but black will. Okay, and then the bar. Make it black as well. In fact, no, that. Make it orange. Okay. And then the unselected ones. Okay, so our states, right? Normal. Well, the normal, let's go ahead and make it red. Rollover, orange. Mouse down, choose the black. And active, let's use red. All right, so this is what we have. Now, this, I can click here. I can change that picture out. Okay, so we're going to just delete it. Whoops. Okay, now I just select this and adjust it to that area. Now, why don't I put it right there? Ideas? Tavish? Why wouldn't I put that right there? Jesse?
Alignment.
Alignment. It's right next to the border. We don't want that because once we put it up against the border, we lose it. Okay, so this will be the history. Schedule of shows. And you know what? I don't need the second one, so I can just click on it. Click it. Oh, come on. Click and hit delete. Now I'm just down to the 2. Okay. As you can see, I didn't alter that one yet, but you can see the difference in what happens if you don't do it the same. So now, let's save all, file, and preview. Now we're going to go to the About. History. All right. So that's where we're at. All right, and that's where we're going to end tonight. Do you have any questions?
No questions.
We lost Tavish. So did that clear some stuff up from last week?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming to class. Thank you for coming to class, Tavish. I look forward to seeing you guys Thursday night, 7:30. Mountain Standard Time. So same time, but Thursday night. You guys have a happy and safe 4th of July, and I look forward to seeing you back after that.
Okay.
Have a nice evening.